Never invite a ghost to your birthday. Chapter 1. Lucky number 13. They say 13 is an unlucky number. I didn't really believe that until the day I turned 13. It was a Wednesday, a boring, school day Wednesday. The sky was grey. My cereal was stale. My dog barfed on my shoes. But none of that was the bad part. The bad part was what came after school. "Max, we're going big this year," Mum chirped as I walked into the kitchen. She was wearing a sparkly apron and waving a stack of blood-red invitations like she'd won a prize. "I planned your entire birthday party. It's going to be epic." That's when the pit opened in my stomach. See? Most kids love birthday parties. Cake, presents, balloons, the whole deal. But me? I'd rather spend the day playing video games or watching horror movies with my best friends Jordan and Milo. No clowns, no screaming cousins, no pin the eyeball on the zombie. Just pizza. Maybe a new skateboard. And peace. "I thought we talked about this," I said carefully, dropping my backpack by the door. "I don't want a big party. I'm not turning 5. Mum just grinned like I hadn't said a word. "It's your 13th birthday. A milestone." She beamed, grabbing a sparkly pen. "We're inviting your class, some neighbours, a few kids from soccer. Oh, and your Aunt Lila is making her slime green gelatin again." I groaned. Aunt Lila's jello looked and smelled like something scraped off a swamp. "Seriously, Mom, can't I just hang with Jordan and Milo this year?" "Nope," she sang. "This one's going to be unforgettable." Spoiler alert. She was right, but not in the way anyone expected. I trudged upstairs and flopped onto my bed, staring at the ceiling. My dog Scabbers curled up beside me with a grumble. He was old, missing a few teeth, and usually smelled like Fritos. But he got me. He knew the deep horror of a Max-style party. And this year it was worse. Because thanks to our weird old house at the edge of town, the party would be held in the backyard, which wouldn't be that bad, except for one thing. Our backyard backed up to Old Willow Cemetery. Yes, an actual cemetery, with crooked gravestones, trees like twisted claws, and a broken iron fence that looked like it had been bent open by something trying to crawl out. It wasn't one of those well-kept cemeteries either. This one had cracked statues with missing heads, sunken plots, and tombstones so old the names had faded into moss. I had to pass it every time I took the trash out. Let's just say I never took the trash out at night. But of course, Mum thought it was the perfect spooky backdrop for a horror-themed birthday. "Right next to the cemetery? Really?" I asked her at dinner. She spooned lasagna onto my plate. "It's atmospheric. It's terrifying. It's Halloween season. It'll be fun." Dad, bless him, just muttered. Couldn't hurt to trim the fence vines, and went back to reading his mystery novel. Great. So I was officially having a cemetery birthday. The next day, Mum handed me one of the invitations. Blood-red cardstock, black letters, dripping font like something from a vampire movie. "You're invited. Max Harper's 13th birthday bash. Saturday 3 p.m. 14 Briar Lane backyard fun, spooky games and cake that's to die for. Come if you dare." It even had a cartoon ghost blowing out candles and a mummy holding balloons. I sighed. Jordan laughed when he saw it at lunch. "Dude, this looks like a haunted house commercial." Milo pretended to be impressed. "Will there be actual corpses?" "Only my soul," I muttered. That night, I was in my room drawing monsters in my sketchbook when I heard it. Knock. I froze. It wasn't the door. It was the window, which wouldn't be a big deal, except my room's on the second floor. and it was 11:46 p.m. I slowly turned my head. Scabbers sat up, ears twitching. He growled low, his teeth bared. Knock! Knock! This time, louder. I crept to the window, heart pounding. My curtains fluttered a little from the breeze, but when I yanked them open, nothing, just the cemetery. Bathed in moonlight, silver, still, silent. The trees didn't move. No branches tapped the glass. No birds, no shadows, nothing. I stood there for a while, waiting for the knock again. It didn't come. The next morning, I was bleary-eyed and grumpy. Mum was in the kitchen with her checklist. 25 invites printed, she said, flipping through her papers. 25 mailed. Are you sure? I asked. She frowned. Counted again. Wait. 24 here. Did I drop one? We checked everywhere. Under the table, between the couch cushions, in the recycling bin, nothing. Must have gotten lost, she said. Or sent to the wrong person, I mumbled. She laughed. What? You think I accidentally invited a ghost? I didn't laugh, not even a little. Chapter 2. The Boy at the Fence. The rest of the week passed in a fog of party prep and dread. Mum turned into a spooky Martha Stewart. Every day after school, she was hot gluing plastic bones to goodie bags, spraying fake cobwebs on the bushes, and experimenting with recipes like mummy hot dogs and swamp slime punch. Meanwhile, I kept one eye on the fence. Nothing had knocked on my window since that night, but something still felt off. Friday afternoon. The sky turned this weird shade of greenish grey. Wind howled down the street like it was late for something. Even Scabbers stayed under the couch, ears back, whining softly. I told myself it was just weather, just nerves, just being 13. But I couldn't shake the feeling. Then Saturday arrived. Party day. Mum was up at dawn, stringing black and orange streamers through the backyard trees. A fog machine hissed on the back porch. Skeletons dangled from the apple tree. She even set up a table with cupcakes that looked like little screaming faces. By 2:45, kids started showing up. Jordan was first, with his usual wild hair and zombie t-shirt. Dude, he said, nodding in approval. You went full graveyard chic. Respect. Milo brought a plastic brain wrapped in tissue paper. It's not real, he promised. Mostly. Soon, the yard was packed. Music played from a speaker shaped like a tombstone. A couple of neighborhood kids bobbed for apples in a cauldron. Aunt Lila tried to teach everyone a dance called the Monster Wiggle. It was chaos. But fun, I had to admit. Until I saw him. I was handing out mini candy bars by the snack table when something caught my eye near the back fence. A figure. Small. Still. At first I thought it was just a statue. But then it blinked. He was standing on the other side of the broken cemetery gate. Perfectly straight. Pale as chalk. Wearing an old-fashioned grey suit with short pants and tall socks. Like someone from one of those creepy black and white photos in the attic. His hair was jet black, parted neatly down the middle. His skin had that odd, paper-thin look, the kind you only see in wax museums or on, well, dead people. I blinked. He didn't move, just stared. Right. Address me. My breath caught. I turned to Milo, who was trying to shotgun a juice box. Hey, I whispered, nudging him. Do you see that kid? By the fence? He looked up, squinted. Where? I pointed. Gone. The boy was gone. The cemetery gate swung gently in the wind, squeaking like a haunted hinge. You okay? Milo asked, frowning. Yeah, I said slowly. Just thought I saw someone. I forced myself to laugh. Probably just a shadow, or a statue, or my brain playing tricks on me. Right? Except then I saw something caught on the fence. Something red. I walked over, heart thumping. It was a crumpled piece of paper, wedged in the rusted bars. I tugged it free. It was wet, dirty. The ink was smeared, but I recognized the font, the cartoon ghost. The words, Max Harper's 13th birthday bash. It was one of Mum's invitations, the missing one, the one she swore she hadn't mailed. Suddenly, the air felt colder. I looked up, and there he was, inside the yard, standing beside the gift table. No one else saw him. Everyone was dancing, laughing, chasing cupcakes. But the pale boy just stood there, still and quiet, like he'd always been there. He picked up the last unopened present, a small box wrapped in wrinkled grey newspaper, and placed it at the very centre of the table. Then he turned, met my eyes, and smiled. "Happy birthday, Max," he said. His voice was soft, old, like dry leaves on stone. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. He turned and walked back toward the fence. I finally stumbled forward. "Wait! Who are you?" But by the time I reached the fence, he was gone. No footprints, no sound. Just the fog, curling low around the tombstones, and the gift, waiting on the table like a trap. Chapter 3. I don't remember walking back to the table. I don't remember my friends talking to me, or music playing, or anyone calling my name. All I remember was the box, small, heavy, wrapped in wrinkled newspaper so old the print had faded to grey. No name on it, no bow, just a single strip of yellowed tape keeping it closed. My fingers hovered over it, my brain screamed, "Don't touch it." But something else whispered louder, "Open it." So I did. The tape cracked as I peeled it back. The paper crumbled like ash in my hands. Inside was a music box. It looked ancient. Tarnished brass, shaped like a coffin. Etchings of vines and symbols I didn't recognize crawled across the lid. A little handle stuck out of the side. Jordan leaned in. "Whoa, is that vintage or cursed?" "Maybe both," Milo muttered. I turned the crank. Click, click, click. The lid sprang open. A soft, eerie tune drifted out. Delicate, like an ice cream truck in a nightmare. A tiny dancer rose from inside, spinning slowly. But it wasn't a ballerina. It was him. The pale boy, carved in perfect detail. Same grey suit, same hollow eyes. The music grew louder. Kids stopped talking. The air went still. And then, crack! The dancer snapped off at the bass. The music turned jagged, shrieking through warped notes as if the box was screaming. I tried to close the lid, it wouldn't budge. And then the wind changed. Fog rolled in from the cemetery. Thick, fast. It spilled over the fence like it was alive. Kids started coughing, yelling. Some ran for the porch. And that's when the screaming started. Not from the kids, from under the ground. A long, hollow wail rising from the earth itself. Jordan dropped his soda. Milo backed away, eyes wide. "Dude, what did you do?" The fog twisted through the yard. I swear it had fingers. It snaked around ankles, yanked at shadows. I looked at the music box. The little carved boy was melting. His face dripped like candle wax, revealing something dark underneath. Black smoke hissed up from the box, curling into the air. Then the back gate, the old rusted cemetery gate, slammed open, and he was there. Not the tiny carved figure, the real one. The pale boy from the fence. His eyes were pure white now, like cracked glass. He didn't walk. He glided. Kids scattered. A table flipped. The fog swallowed the gift table whole. He stopped in front of me. "You opened it," he said. His mouth didn't move. The words echoed in my skull. "You accepted the gift." The music box clanged shut. Everyone was gone. Just me, him, and the fog. He held out a hand. "Your turn now," he whispered. Then everything went dark. Chapter 4. The 13th Guest. Silence. Then a buzzing, like a swarm of angry bees inside my skull. My eyes blinked open. I was lying in the grass. Everything was quiet. Too quiet. The candy table was overturned. The balloon arch had collapsed. Streamers fluttered in the misty breeze, torn and tangled like cobwebs. The fog was mostly gone, but a chill hung in the air, like the echo of something that didn't belong. I sat up slowly. My head throbbed. My ears rang. My throat felt like I'd swallowed dust and ash. And everyone was gone. No Jordan, no Milo, no Mom, no kids, no yelling, no music. Just me, and the music box. It sat in the grass beside me, lid closed again, looking innocent and silent. But I could still hear its twisted melody echoing faintly in my ears. I picked it up. It was ice cold. Then I heard the voice, not out loud, inside my head. "He saw you." I froze. "Who?" I whispered. No answer. Just wind. Then, somewhere behind me, a twig snapped. I spun around. There, at the edge of the yard, by the cemetery gate, stood Jordan. Or at least, I thought it was him. He was turned away, facing the tombstones, still, silent. "Jordan!" I called, stumbling to my feet. "Jordan, are you okay?" No response. I ran to him. When I reached out and touched his shoulder, he turned, and I screamed. His eyes were wide, blank, glazed like plastic. His mouth hung open slightly, and when he spoke, it wasn't his voice. 13 guests, he said. Only 12 left. He blinked, and then collapsed. I barely caught him as he fell. His body was limp, breathing, but barely. From behind me, I heard more coughing, movement, footsteps. I turned. The other kids were stumbling out from behind bushes, the side of the house, the porch. Milo clutched his head. "Max! What was that?" "What happened?" someone else shouted. "Where's my phone?" "My little brother's gone," a girl wailed. "He was just here." The fog had left, but it had taken something with it, and something had been left behind. Chapter 5. The Boy in the Black Room. The cemetery gate was still open. It groaned in the wind, swinging slowly on hinges that hadn't moved in years. The fog was gone, But a trail remained, not smoke, but footprints. Small ones. They glowed faintly, like they were soaked in moonlight, and they led straight into Old Willow Cemetery. I hesitated, then I heard it. A voice, high, afraid. "Max? Hello?" It came from inside the graveyard. The missing kid. I didn't even think. I grabbed the music box, shoved it in my hoodie pocket, and ran through the gate. The air changed instantly. Colder. Thicker. Like the fog had left something behind in the soil. Gravestones leaned at odd angles. Some were broken. Some sank halfway into the earth like they were being swallowed. The trees creaked, black branches scratching at the sky. I followed the footprints. Left, right, right again. The path wound between graves and finally stopped at a cracked marble slab covered in moss. The name had faded with time, but I could just make out the words. Guest number 13, the doorkeeper. I crouched, brushing away leaves. Something shifted beneath the stone. I leapt back, and the ground split open. A low groan, like 1,000 doors opening at once, echoed from beneath the grave. Dust burst from the cracks. A wooden trapdoor creaked open. Darkness inside. Then I heard it again. "Max, help me." I climbed down. The tunnel was narrow and steep, carved through packed earth and tangled roots. The only light came from the cracks in the music box, which pulsed dimly in my hoodie. At the bottom was a stone chamber, and on the far wall, a mural, painted in blood red and charcoal black. It showed a circle of 13 children. One of them stood in the center, holding a box. The others surrounded him. Some wept, some looked away. One reached toward the box as if trying to stop him. At the bottom of the mural, written in jagged old letters, 13 must witness. One must open, one must stay. There was something else too. An old journal sitting on a stone pedestal. The pages were yellowed, edges burnt. I flipped through it. The handwriting was messy but legible. "My name is Ellis. I was the 13th guest. I opened the box. I let him out. They said it was a party game. They said it would be over by sunset. They lied. Now I live here, between the seconds, between the graves. He made me like him. But I won't stay forever. The next one will come. One always comes. If you find this, don't trust him." "Max." I spun around. At the far end of the chamber, a door stood open, black and crooked, like it had been burned into the stone. Beyond it, pitch darkness. A boy stepped out. Not the missing kid, the ghost. His face was clearer now, less pale, less ghostly, like he'd fed on something. On the party? The fear? "You came," he said. His voice was like wind through dead leaves. "Where's the kid?" I asked. My voice cracked. He tilted his head. "He's here, watching, waiting." "Let him go." The boy's smile faded. "You opened the box. You brought me back. You knew the rules." "I didn't know anything." "You do now." I took out the music box. Its glow flickered. "What is this thing?" He stepped closer. "A promise," he said. "A door, a trap, a trade." "Trade for what?" "One guest for another. One candle out, one candle lit. That's the rule." He walked over to the mural and pointed at the center figure, the child holding the box. This was me, a long time ago. Something shifted in his face. For a second, he didn't look like a monster. He looked tired. I was tricked, just like you. But I got out, just long enough to pass it on. You want me to take your place? He nodded. Or pass it to someone else. I froze. You mean? I could give it to anyone, he said. One gift, one open box. That's all it takes. A cold wave passed through me. That's how the curse survived, every generation. One kid invites the next, whether they know it or not. Where's the missing kid? I asked again. He didn't answer, so I ran. Past the mural, through the tunnel, back into the cemetery. The footprints were gone now. But in the distance, I heard it. A soft sobbing. I followed the sound to a headstone split clean down the center. Behind it, curled in a ball, was the missing boy. Eyes wide, skin pale. He looked up at me. He said it was a game. I know, I said, pulling him up. Come on, we're getting out of here. As we ran back toward the house, the music box pulsed faster in my pocket, like it knew it wasn't over. Chapter 6. One candle out. I slammed the back door behind us and locked it. Like a flimsy bolt could stop what we'd just seen. The missing kid, his name was Kenny, sat on the floor shaking. His eyes were hollow. His clothes smelled like dirt and stone. Milo ran up, eyes wide. Where were you? Everyone's freaking out. Cops showed up. Your mom's out front talking to them. I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. What could I even say? Oh, just had a chat with a trapped spirit from a ghost party dimension. No big deal. Instead, I reached into my hoodie and pulled out the music box. It burned my fingers. Milo stepped back. Dude, that's what started this, isn't it? I nodded slowly. The box pulsed. Once, twice. Then it stopped. Outside, the party was over. Tables were knocked over. Decorations were ruined. Some kids had gone home. Others sat wrapped in blankets, crying or staring into space. The cops didn't know what to do. They said it was a gas leak panic event. That didn't explain why Kenny had been missing for almost an hour, or why no one remembered seeing him leave. I pulled Milo aside and told him everything. The trapdoor, the mural, the journal, the ghost boy's deal. He didn't laugh. He didn't question me. He just said, "Then we destroy it." I nodded. Tonight. We waited until midnight. The house was dark. Mom had finally gone to bed after hours of explaining things to the police and passing out comfort cookies. Milo and I met in the garage. I brought the music box in a fireproof lockbox wrapped in towels. Milo brought matches, lighter fluid, and a baseball bat, just in case. We went out into the woods behind the cemetery, where the ground was dry and the wind didn't reach. "This has to work," I whispered. I placed the music box on the ground. Its lid was closed, but I could hear the faint sound of the twisted melody leaking out. A tune that didn't belong in this world. Milo lit the match. I hesitated. What if this didn't destroy it? What if it made things worse? Too late. He dropped the match. The fire caught quickly. Orange light roared up around the box, licking at the metal. The song got louder, warped, screaming. Then, pop. The flame died. The music box sat in the ashes, untouched. Perfect, cold. Milo's jaw dropped. No way. It didn't even get scratched. I stared at it. Then I noticed something. The box had changed. The lid was now etched with a symbol I hadn't seen before. A small candle. And it was burning down. The flame was tiny, but it was moving. "Milo," I whispered. "I think it's counting down. 1 candle out," he muttered. "That's what the ghost said, right? 1 out, 1 lit." My hands started shaking. "I think, when it burns out, someone goes back in. Like a timer. A clock, a curse, a door." We grabbed the box and ran. Back in my room, I opened the journal again. There was something I hadn't noticed before, scratched in the back cover in shaky, almost panicked handwriting. "You can't destroy it. You can't keep it. You can only pass it. And if the candle burns out, it chooses for you." A cold sweat ran down my spine. "What happens if you don't pass it?" Milo asked. I didn't answer, because I already knew. That night, I dreamed I was standing in the graveyard again, but the graves were all open, empty. The 13 children from the mural stood around me. Their faces were hollow, flickering like candle flames. Each of them held a box. Each box had a candle, and each candle was burning down. In the center of the circle stood the ghost boy. "Time's almost up," he said. "1 out, 1 lit. Who will it be?" I woke up screaming. The next morning, the candle on the lid was nearly gone. I had maybe 1 day left, maybe less. I couldn't give it to just anyone, not to Milo, not to Kenny, not to someone innocent. But what if I could find someone else, someone who deserved it? Then a thought crept into my head, dark, terrible. What about the bully? Trevor Moss. 8th grade tyrant, shoved kids into lockers, stole lunch money, called me Maxipad every day for a month. He was a monster, right? Wouldn't it be fair? Wouldn't it work? I stared at the music box. The candle sputtered, and somewhere, faint and distant, I heard the ghost boy whisper, "Make a wish, Max. Blow the candle out." Chapter 7. The Trade. I didn't go to school the next day. I couldn't. The box sat on my desk like a bomb. The candle on its lid now barely more than a nub. The flame danced with every breath I took, flickering like it could vanish at any second. Milo texted me 3 times. "You okay? Any changes? Max, don't do anything stupid." Too late. I already was. At 3:15 p.m, Trevor Moss left school the way he always did, alone, blasting music from his cracked phone, tossing empty gum wrappers into people's yards. I followed him. He didn't notice, or maybe he didn't care. We lived a few blocks apart, but his walk home cut behind the old abandoned tennis courts behind Briar Street. A perfect place. Quiet. Hidden. My heart pounded with every step. This is wrong, but the candle was nearly gone. What choice do I have? When Trevor ducked behind the chain-link gate, I sped up and pulled the music box from my backpack. It was glowing. The flame on the lid pulsed, growing stronger, like it knew, like it was hungry. "Hey, Trevor!" I called. He turned. "What do you want, loser?" I walked toward him, hands shaking. "You like music?" I asked, holding the box out. He frowned. "What is that? Some lame magic trick?" "No," I said. "It's a gift." He scoffed. "I don't want." But it was too late. The lid snapped open. The tune played. And the candle vanished. A burst of cold shot through my arm. The wind died. Trevor froze. His eyes locked onto the box. What is that sound?" he whispered. Then he dropped to his knees and started screaming. I ran. All the way home. My lungs burned. My legs went numb. But I didn't stop. I threw the box into the closet and slammed the door. I had done it. I had made the trade. The candle was gone, and I was free, wasn't I? That night, I slept with one eye open, and inside was a new candle, still tall, still whole, and below it, carved freshly into the brass, Trevor Moss. My stomach dropped. You can only pass it, and if the candle burns out, it chooses for you. I hadn't passed the box. I had used it, and now it belonged to me, forever. The lights flickered. The room grew cold. And from the box, something stepped out. A shadow, a face, a smirk. The ghost boy. He was sharper now, more solid, more alive. "Hello again, Max." "No," I said. "I did what you said. I gave it away." "You didn't give," he said. "You fed it." "I didn't know. You made the choice. You cast the candle. Now it knows you." "What do I do?" I whispered. The ghost tilted his head. "You become what I was," he said. Unless what?" He leaned in, eyes flickering like coals. "Unless you find someone willing." My skin went cold. "Willing?" He nodded. A gift freely accepted. A box opened by choice. A new doorkeeper. But who would choose this? He smiled. "That's your problem now." Downstairs, my phone buzzed. It was Milo. "You need to come see this, now." "It's about Trevor." At the park, I found Milo sitting under the basketball hoop, pale as a ghost. "Look," he said, holding up his phone. It was a post from the school gossip page. A blurry photo of Trevor standing in the middle of the tennis court, talking to no one. His eyes were wide, his mouth was open. He was holding a box. An exact replica of mine. The caption read, "Trevor Moss finally lost it. Said he was the keeper of the flame. Started handing out party invites to strangers." I looked at Milo. He looked at me. "What did you do?" he asked. I couldn't answer. Because I wasn't sure anymore who the box belonged to. Me? Or Trevor? Or maybe both. That night, I opened the box again. The candle was still full. But now, there was something else inside. A single red envelope. My name on it. and inside, 13 blank invitations. Chapter 8, the invitation list. There were 13 cards inside the envelope. 13 red, glossy rectangles with silver ink. Blank except for a tiny, flickering candle stamped in the corner, just like the one on the lid of the music box. As I touched them, I could feel it. Warmth. Like they were alive. Like they were waiting. I dropped the envelope on my desk and backed away. "No," I whispered. No. This is over. I passed it on. But the ghost boy's words echoed in my head. Unless you find someone willing, you're still the keeper. My phone buzzed. Another message from Milo. He gave one to Carter. Said there's a party tonight. Max, what is happening? I didn't reply. I couldn't. Because the box had already made its next move. At school, Trevor was absent. Carter wasn't. But he wasn't normal either. His eyes looked off, like he hadn't slept. Like he'd seen something you're not supposed to see and couldn't unsee it. During science class, he turned to me and whispered. I opened it. My heart sank. What? The invitation. It said I was chosen. Did you? I swallowed hard. Did you hear music? He nodded. It's still playing. He smiled then. A weird, slow, empty smile. It won't stop. By lunch, 2 more kids had gotten invitations. Milo ran to me at the vending machine. Max, this is spreading. It's not a curse anymore. It's a game. No, I said. It's a chain. He blinked. What? Every time someone opens the box, it multiplies. 13 invites. 13 more boxes. And each new keeper gets their own 13. Milo's face turned pale. That's exponential. I nodded. It's not one ghost anymore. It's a network. A system. A factory of fear. And I had started it. That night, I burned the invitations. All 13. I lit a match, dropped them in the sink, and watched them curl into ash. But in the morning, they were back, neatly stacked on my desk. Untouched. Waiting. I called Kenny. He was still shaken, barely sleeping, but he told me something that stopped my heart cold. When I was down there, he said, in the dark, he told me something. Who? The boy, the ghost, the doorkeeper. What did he say? Kenny paused. He said, you weren't the first, and you won't be the last. You're just the first to fight back. I knew what I had to do. The box couldn't be destroyed. The invitations couldn't be burned. But maybe I could seal it. I remembered the journal, the trapdoor, the mural, the doorkeeper's grave, the one marked guest number 13. Maybe that's what I had to do. Maybe I had to bury it again. Not in the closet. Not under my bed. Back where it came from. Milo didn't like the idea. Every horror movie starts with someone saying, let's go back to the cursed cemetery. It's not a horror movie, I said. Could have fooled me. Still, he came with me. We waited until nightfall and snuck out with a shovel, flashlight, the music box sealed in 3 layers of duct tape, and yes, more cookies from my mum. Because ghost hunting is hungry work. We crept past the back fence into Old Willow Cemetery. The fog was already there waiting. The gravestones looked even more crooked than before. And the air? Still, watching, listening. We found the cracked marble slab again, guest number 13. I crouched beside it. The ground was softer than I remembered, like something had already been dug up. I hesitated, then I started digging. Every scoop of dirt made the box vibrate harder in my backpack. The candle on the lid pulsed faster. "You sure this is going to work?" Milo whispered. "No." We hit the wood, the old trap door. Still there, still unsealed. I opened it, and the song started playing. By itself. The melody drifted up from the earth like smoke. Milo gripped my arm. "Dude." "I know," I said. And I dropped the box inside. It thudded softly at the bottom. The flame sputtered once, twice, then it went out. The air shifted, the wind stopped, the fog froze in place, and the trapdoor slammed shut. We ran. Didn't stop until we hit my yard. Didn't speak until we were inside. Then Milo asked the question I was afraid of. "Is it over?" I looked back toward the cemetery, where just for a second I saw 13 tiny candles flicker in the dark. And the trapdoor slammed shut. We ran. Didn't stop until we hit my yard. Didn't speak until we were inside. Then Milo asked the question I was afraid of. "Is it over?" I looked back toward the cemetery, where, just for a second, I saw 13 tiny candles flicker in the dark. Chapter 9. I didn't sleep that night. Neither did Milo. We stayed up, watching the window, watching the trees. But nothing happened. The music box was buried. The trapdoor slammed shut. The song had stopped. It had to be over, didn't it? By morning, something felt wrong. The house was too quiet. Even Scabbers, my old dog, refused to leave his bed. He just stared at the wall, like he saw something I didn't. I went to school anyway. I needed things to feel normal again. Spoiler, they didn't. At least half the 8th grade had red eyes and sunken cheeks. Like they hadn't slept in days. Like they were all having the same dream. The dream I thought I'd left behind. Worse, some were humming. That same tune. That broken, icy melody from the box. I tried asking Carter about it. He just looked at me and said, "It's inside now." Then he walked away. After lunch, Milo dragged me into the art wing stairwell. "No one saw me," he said, pulling something out of his backpack. A photo. It was grainy, taken from across the cemetery. But I recognized it instantly. It showed the doorkeeper's grave, and on top of it, 13 candles. All lit, all flickering in perfect sync. "I took this morning," Milo said. "You said you buried the box, so tell me, what the heck is this?" I couldn't answer, because I'd seen the candles too. Just a flicker, a warning. I thought it was over. But it wasn't buried. It had multiplied. That night, the journal reappeared. On my pillow. Same burn marks on the cover. Same torn pages. Except this time, a new entry had been scribbled in red ink across the back page. "You sealed one door. 12 more remain. The fire spreads, and the keepers wake." I dropped the book like it had burned me. Then I noticed something else. My bedroom mirror. It was fogged over, not from heat, from the inside. And on the glass, drawn by some unseen finger, a symbol, a candle, surrounded by 12 more. I didn't wait. I called Milo, told him to meet me at the cemetery with flashlights and the crowbar from his dad's shed. We had to go back. Again. We had to make sure the grave hadn't just opened, but become something worse. A gate.
The cemetery was silent when we arrived.
No wind, no owls, not even bugs. The candles were there, exactly as Milo's photo showed. 12 in a circle, 1 in the center, all glowing. We approached slowly. The air around the grave shimmered with heat, even though the night was freezing. "What now?" Milo asked. I didn't know. I reached toward the center candle. The moment my fingers touched the wax, I heard footsteps behind us. Slow, crunching. We turned. 13 figures stood at the edge of the trees. Children, different ages, different clothes. Their faces blurry, as if someone had tried to erase them from memory. And each one held a music box, lit by candlelight. Milo grabbed my sleeve. "Max!" I couldn't speak. One by one, the children stepped forward, surrounding the grave, completing the circle. Then the last one stepped into view. The ghost boy, only he wasn't a ghost anymore. His eyes glowed gold. His body flickered like he was made of wax and flame. "You tried to seal it," he said. That was brave. "But this isn't a curse," he whispered. "It's a network. A system, a cycle, and cycles don't end." He walked up to me, the other 12 still and silent behind him. "You buried the box," he said, "but the fire was already lit. The others accepted the invitation. Now there are 13 flames." He reached out and dropped something into my hand. A new box. Not brass, black, with a silver lid. And instead of 1 candle on top, there were 13. Chapter 10, The Final Flame. The box was heavier than before. It didn't just sit in my palm, it anchored me. Like holding it meant carrying 1,000 decisions, 1,000 screams. 13 candles, 12 lit, 1 dark, waiting. The ghost boy watched me closely, like a chess master watching his final move play out. "You're the last," he said softly. "The 13th flame." The other children surrounded us in a ring of flickering light. Silent, still. I could feel the heat of their boxes, the weight of their stories. Each one like me, or like I was about to become. Milo stepped forward. "Max, don't take it." The ghost boy didn't look at him. He kept his eyes on me. "You already have." I opened my mouth to protest, but the box pulsed in my hand. Warm, then hot, then burning. I dropped it with a cry, but it hovered, just an inch above the grave, spinning slowly, suspended in air by nothing I could see. The final candle on its lid flickered to life, and suddenly everything changed. The grave beneath us split open, not like before. This time it didn't reveal a tunnel, it revealed a room. Stone walls, lined with mirrors. Each mirror reflected something different. One showed me and Milo running through the cemetery. Another showed Carter staring into his locket, whispering to no one. A third showed Kenny, still curled up in the grave, whispering. He said it was a game, over and over. A fourth mirror showed something worse. It showed me, years older, standing in a bedroom I didn't recognize, holding the box, and handing it to a child. "No," I whispered. "That's not me. That's not going to be me." The ghost boy smiled. "It already is." I turned. "There has to be a way to stop this." "There was," he said. "You ignored it." "What are you talking about?" "The gift," he said. "It had to be accepted, willingly. You forced it. You said that was an option." He stepped closer. "I said it was a choice, not the right one. The fire doesn't reward cruelty, Max. It feeds on it. And now it knows your name." The other children stepped forward, raising their boxes, and they began to sing. Not words, just the melody. That soft, broken ice cream truck tune that twisted and cracked in the middle. The candles on their boxes flared, the mirrors pulsed. And the ghost boy raised a hand. "You can end it, Max." "Really?" I asked. "End it for real?" He nodded. "But you won't like how." I knew what he meant before he said it. I was the last flame. To end the cycle, I had to go in. Not pass it. Not bury it. Replace him. Become the doorkeeper forever. Milo grabbed my shoulder. "You don't have to do this. We can find another way." "There isn't another way," I said. "I'm not letting you get stuck down there." "I won't be stuck," I said. "I'll be keeping it locked. Keeping them safe." Milo's eyes filled with tears. "Max." I turned to the ghost boy. He nodded once. I stepped forward. The box rose higher, the mirrors swirled into flame, the final candle burned bright white. And I said the words, "I accept." Everything exploded in light. The fire wrapped around me, pulling me into the grave, into the mirrors, into the music. I felt every scream, every keeper, every trade. I became the boy in the center of the mural, the child holding the box, the 13th flame. Then, darkness. Not cold, not hot, just still. Time didn't pass. Wind didn't blow. Only one sound existed, the music box, playing forever. And I held it in my hands, alone, until I heard something, footsteps, small, scared, from far above. A voice echoed, "Max, hello." I smiled and said nothing. Chapter 11. The rescue attempt. Milo didn't leave. He didn't run. He didn't try to forget like the others. He stayed by the grave. For hours, waiting, watching. The candles eventually burned out, one by one. The grave sealed itself with a hiss like hot breath. The wind picked up. The fog returned, but Milo didn't move. Because Max was still down there. Somewhere. And Milo wasn't letting the box take him without a fight. At school, the stories changed again. Kids forgot things. Whole chunks of the birthday party vanished from memory. Even Carter didn't remember the invitation, or the box. He just blinked a lot and said he must have had the flu. But Milo remembered. And Kenny remembered. And the mirror in Max's room still fogged up every morning, with the same symbol, 13 flames. So Milo went back, 1 week later, to the doorkeeper's grave. This time, he brought tools. Rope, a lantern, a journal full of scrawled notes and sketches he and Max had made together. He'd found something in the final page of the journal Max left behind. Something written, not in ink, but in wax. Held over flame, it revealed. If the 13th goes willingly, the cycle pauses. But if someone takes their place, the cycle resets. A loophole. A horrible one. But a way. Milo didn't hesitate. He dug up the grave, one cold breath at a time. The wood creaked. The trapdoor hissed open. And the tunnel waited. No fog, no voices, just the faint, constant sound of the music. Still playing, still waiting. He climbed down. The walls were cracked now. The mirrors broken. The mural faded and bleeding through stone. But the room remained, and in the center, Max, sitting cross-legged, holding the black box, eyes closed, skin pale, like he hadn't aged, or moved, or breathed. Max? Max opened his eyes slowly and smiled. You found me. Milo ran to him. We can switch. I read the journal. If I take your place. No. Max shook his head. It's not that simple. Why not? Max stood. His voice was calm. Hollow, like it came from somewhere farther than the room. Because someone else already tried. He stepped back and pointed behind Milo. Milo turned. There, behind a cracked mirror, another figure stood. Older, taller, eyes like empty wells. It was the ghost boy. But he wasn't a boy anymore. He was something else. A shadow in the shape of a person. A keeper long forgotten, who had stayed too long in the fire. I didn't want to hurt anyone, it said in a dry whisper, but I had to escape. I passed the box. They all passed the box, but none of them stayed. I stayed, Max said quietly. And now he can't leave, the ghost said. Unless, he turned to Milo. You replace him. Milo looked at Max. Max shook his head slowly. Don't, he said. It's too late for me. But we could end it, Milo said. We could trap it forever. Seal it with two of us. No one else would get hurt. Max's eyes flickered. Hope. Pain. The ghost boy laughed, dry and empty. You think 2 candles can hold 13? You don't understand. This isn't a curse anymore. This is a system. And systems don't break. They spread. The mirrors ignited. Flames danced across their shattered surfaces, revealing other rooms, other boxes, other keepers. Other Maxes, hundreds of versions, each holding their own black box, each whispering the same song. Milo fell to his knees. "This isn't one place," he said. "It's a web." "A hive," the ghost boy said. 1,000 doors, 1,000 Maxes. And soon, one more. The black box in Max's hands cracked open. Inside, 13 new candles lit, all at once. Each flame whispered a name, and one of them was Milo's. Max dropped the box. "No!" The ground rumbled. The mirrors shattered, and from the flames, a new voice rose. Door unlocked. Cycle rebooting. Milo grabbed Max's hand. "Then let's burn the system down." Max met his eyes. Together. Together. They turned, faced the final mirror, and jumped through. What happened next? No one really knows. The grave was found days later. Sealed, cold, clean, no trapdoor, no candles. Just one thing left behind, a music box. Shut, tight, black as night. And inside, 2 names. Epilogue. Kenny's journal. Location: April 17th, 2 weeks after the birthday shop. I don't go near the cemetery anymore. Not since that night. Not since the fog. Not since Max. I walk the long way to school now. Add 7 blocks to avoid Briar Lane. Doesn't matter if it rains. Doesn't matter if I'm late. I'd rather be marked absent than see that rusted gate again. The thing is, no one talks about it anymore. Not the party, not Max, not even Milo. The grown-ups say Max ran away, that his family moved suddenly. No forwarding address. Nothing left behind except some dusty boxes and a dog that won't stop scratching the bedroom door. But I know better. I know what I saw. I know what I heard. And I know what I felt when I was down in that grave. It wasn't just Max's voice calling my name. It was 100 voices, maybe more. Whispers like roots in the dark, wrapping around your legs, tugging at your name, begging for light, begging for someone to blow out the last candle. Some nights I still hear the music, very faint, coming from under the bed, or behind the closet, or somewhere even deeper than that. It plays just long enough for me to doubt it, then it stops. Just long enough for me to listen harder next time. If you hear it from his back time, the other day, I found something in my backpack, a red envelope, blank, no name. No stamp, no writing, just a faint wax seal in the shape of a flame. I didn't open it. I burned it in the sink, but when I checked my bag the next morning, it was back, perfect, untouched, waiting. So I started writing this journal, to remember, to warn myself, to remind myself what I promised Max before we left the grave that night. Never open the box. Never light the candle. Never invite the ghost to your birthday. But if you're reading this now, if you ever hear the music, if the envelope shows up at your door, don't answer it. Don't play the game. And whatever you do, don't be the 13th flame.